Whew.
Welcome, everybody, to the Getaway podcast with Tony and Sean. I am Tony.
I am Sean.
And we are glad to be here with you. I am so happy to be back after a week's hiatus. Feels like longer than that. But ready to bring it to you one more time. Special thanks to our brother Jeff Cooks last week.
Yeah, he
filling in. Appreciate it. I don't know what y'all was doing, because I got so many text messages and people ask me what's going on the podcast, and I said I really don't know. I was a little laid up.
Wait a minute.
However,
who was texting?
Definitely left an impression. I had the masses were texting me, man. They were texting me. Actually, it was just my wife, but she was asking me what you guys were doing with the masks on.
So many text messages was just your wife.
Yeah, I didn't answer her at first, so she messaged a couple of times. So anyway, it's good to be back.
Yeah,
it's great to be back.
Welcome back.
What's going on out in California, man?
Sunshine and tacos, son.
Hey, yeah, it's been all right over here too.
I had a week vacation, and it ends tonight. I'm back to work tomorrow. I woke up this morning 8:35, jumped out of bed like I'm late for work. My girl was like, "It's Sunday. What are you doing?"
So you said you had a week's vacation. Yes. Tonight is the last night. You are back to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
And where are you working from tomorrow?
Home.
The couch. Okay.
It's a long 1 minute walk to the restroom, do your thing in the morning, and then to the couch.
Okay. Make sure you wash your hands for 20 seconds.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things we do.
Yes.
20 seconds, masks, social distancing.
Yeah.
And no big 1,000-person parties at my crib.
Oh.
That's called what is it called? A spreader.
A super spreader event.
Super spreader. A super soaker spreader, as Dr. Fauci would put it. Goodness gracious.
Outbreak monkey.
Anyway, we're gonna get off to a great start on a light note. For those of you who don't know, we tape this podcast on Sundays.
Yeah.
It is Sunday evening now, and right now the Lakers are up by about 30 in Game 6 against the Miami Heat.
LeBron's had enough.
So he's had enough. Anthony Davis has had enough. Playoff Rondo has had enough.
Yes.
They said it's time to send these boys home. We've spent enough time here in the bubble.
That's right.
And Ronnie James is getting ready for that butt whooping that LeBron is going to put
LeBron's like, Danny, can you hit that shot so I can go home and handle my business and get on this boy about smoking that weed, that nuggets back?
You know what, man? Let's be honest. And my son is listening to this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Okay. He did. And I'm not going to say a lot of us.
Yeah.
But a lot of y'all delinquents. No, he was being a kid. And I'm not condoning that. But it's just when you're in the limelight, everything is going to be exacerbated,
magnified,
and magnified. Here's the deal, man. LeBron James's kid messed up. Is some kid experimenting stuff, got caught, and LeBron seems like a quality individual, quality parent, and he's probably going to make sure he lays the hammer down and teaches a learning lesson, a lifelong lesson, hopefully. And hey, it is what it is. That's my opinion. What's your opinion, Sean?
We keep it in-house.
Right.
We keep it in-house.
Right. Because guess what? If my son got caught doing it, I'm not going to tell you what would happen.
Right.
You can imagine what happened.
All right.
But I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen. And guess what? I wouldn't expect that it's going to happen again.
All right.
So then we're good.
It's probably going to happen again.
But I bet you'd be better covering it up.
But he won't be. He won't be on social media doing it. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. He can't wait. He can't wait to get home because he wants to see everybody. Like I figured he would invite his family to the bubble, but he's so focused in the playoffs, man. He's like, look, this is a business trip, and I'll see you guys in a few more days. It's already been over 100 days. What's another couple more days, and then I'll be back.
Man, you say that too. I didn't really think about that too much along the way. I was just happy to be watching basketball.
All right.
But these cats have been in the bubble
Yeah.
for over 3 months.
Right. Right.
No family interaction.
Well, no, that's not accurate because, after
Limited.
so much time, they allowed the spouses and what do they call it? Significant or something friend. Kind of like your boy Kyle Kuzma and Tyler Hero. You know about that, right? Where
Enlighten me.
Kyle Kuzma was dating some girl and they're no longer dating, but now she is dating Tyler Hero on the Miami Heat, and she is in the bubble with Tyler.
So she quite possibly didn't even leave the bubble.
Let's
she might have shown up to the bubble.
Go.
And went from
I don't think so.
Floor 4 to floor 13.
I don't think so.
Floor 13 to 4.
But could you imagine the snickering? Think high school lunchroom. All the Lakers are sitting together. The Heat sit together. Here comes Tyler with his chick, and they walk by that table with the Lakers that have Kyle Kuzma sitting on it. All the snickers and the jokes when she walks by with him. I would be all over him.
You know what you just made me think of?
What? It ain't no NBA, fun if the homies can't have none. What?
They are smart when it comes to marketing.
Yeah.
But man, they should have had reality video rolling during this bubble.
Now, I did see that the same crew that did the Michael Jordan documentary, what's it called? The Last Dance? They're in the boat.
Mm-hmm. Boy, then hey, Silver, yes.
He got one thing right.
I would be very shocked.
Yeah.
If we didn't get behind the scenes bubble footage.
Yeah.
In the form of some sort of little mini series.
It's going to be about LeBron. It's going to be about LeBron, right?
Of course. Well, yes, it probably is going to be predominantly LeBron, and that's okay. That's okay. The GOAT of our generation.
Yes.
Our generation. We're not going to get into any arguments today.
Huh?
Okay. He is the modern day GOAT.
Yeah.
As Michael Jeffrey Jordan was the GOAT of the 90s.
Who all did the Bulls play? Real quick. You're the basketball guy. We talked about this last week. 2 football guys talking about basketball. Who did the Bulls beat in the finals? It was the Lakers, Seattle, Portland, the Jazz twice, and the Suns, right? And we did that thing where we're dropping out. We're taking out the best, each team's best player and dropping LeBron. And do they beat the Bulls? So if you do the Lakers and you take out Magic, put LeBron in, who wins? Oh, come on. This is rapid fire.
See, I can't do this game then because I would analyze it. I felt like the Lakers were kind of getting near the end anyway.
Right.
During that time when Magic was there.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, yes, LeBron was a dominant player. I don't know who would guard him. I think we had that conversation.
Yeah.
When you look at Pippen couldn't guard him. He was a little light in the butt. Yeah. Rodman, I think he tried to get under his skin, but I just feel like he's just too versatile, man. He's just too versatile and big and strong.
Right.
That would have been a problem.
Yeah.
Michael would have been a problem for, still anybody on that team. Nobody would have really guarded him. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Lakers were near the end.
Well, yeah, but if you take out old Magic and put in young LeBron.
But Magic wasn't the only old person on that team, though.
Okay, Seattle. Who was their best player? Was it the Glove or was it Kemp? Take out Kemp. So the Glove and LeBron. Or LeBron and Kemp.
See, the problem with that is the Bulls, to me, as constructed during those runs, were the best team in the league, period. And sometimes it wasn't that close when they were going up in the finals. Really? I mean, it was kind of lopsided.
Portland.
So
take off your boy, Clyde the Glide. You don't see anywhere he gets a dub? How about Utah? Stockton to LeBron. That team was defensively that team defensively could handle the Bulls better than all the other teams.
I feel like the Bulls especially when you go back and watch, but just remembering kind of as it was happening, the Bulls were very man, they were just so good,
Yeah.
Sean.
Well,
They were so good.
yeah. Barkley,
And
take Barkley out, put LeBron in.
I don't think so.
Come on, man. Took him
I
to
don't think
6.
so. I don't think, man, they were good, man. They were great. They were great.
LeBron doesn't get not one dub. Doesn't get a ring. Doesn't make Jordan
Didn't get a
go
ring.
5-1.
Not while the Bulls were what the Bulls were.
Mm.
But to me, if you were to take a player off of that Bulls team, a starter, see if you would have taken one of those guys off, and okay, so say you take Pippen off, right?
Yeah.
And you insert, and then you insert, and that's not probably fair, but you insert LeBron on one of those teams.
Oh.
Yeah, it totally changes it. Okay.
Yeah.
You take a Rodman off during the time when he was there, it totally changes it. I mean, even Horace Grant they filled their roles so well, and defensively, they were just so good.
Right.
Defensively.
Well, the whole point of that was to say that we're taking, a GOAT player from this era and dropping in on a team that Jordan faced in the finals. And would he elevate that team that might have pushed him to the brink and be able to steal a ring? I thought, I thought with the Lakers team, I thought he could.
Yeah, I just think they were too old. I think they were too old.
The youth, man.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know, but it doesn't change my opinion on the greatness.
No, not at all.
Because here's the deal. You put LeBron in place of Michael on those Bulls teams.
It's some sweeps.
And that team is even better.
It's some sweeps. Yeah, it's some
because
sweeps.
It's just the physical dominance. Man, Michael was so good, but Michael was different.
Right.
You didn't see guys like Mike.
Right.
That were that athletic and that skilled and just he just had that package. And yes, and he did it over time and Michael really had to even and this is one thing that people forget. And the series did a great job of showing this.
Mm-hmm.
Michael had to dial it back for them to win.
Yeah.
Michael had to dial it back and let other people do their thing for them to win because Michael was putting up all these great points and they weren't winning.
Well, that was about
like
when Phil Jackson got there and the whole concept of triangle offense, sharing the ball and movement.
But what also happened was they brought in really good players.
Well, yeah. Now he doesn't realize.
Nobody thought that
now he doesn't feel like he has to do all the work.
Well, other guys could get it done, and it was
Right.
just the right. And sometimes, man, it's a team sport, right? Sometimes it's just the right mix of players,
Right.
and they were able to do that. And then when they had to make moves and get rid of this player, they brought in another player of a similar ilk, right? That fit into that system,
Right.
right? That maybe wouldn't have done that in other places, but could do it there, partly because of the attention that a Michael would get, the attention that a Scotty would get. But it's just tough, man. When you talk era to era, that's why honestly I don't even have a lot of interest in even debating it. I love watching Michael. I love watching the Bulls. Man, it was great fun. I love watching LeBron, and I'm glad he has somebody like an Anthony Davis. Here's the deal: LeBron's been in the league for 17 years.
Right.
He's playing at a higher caliber. Listen, we're having these conversations about whether or not he's leading the team or Anthony Davis. I really don't care.
Right.
Okay. His greatness, if you watch the games, shows through.
He's leading.
And when he has the respect of the other great players in the league.
Right.
Still.
Right.
Okay. To me, that says a lot.
Yeah.
Like, my opinion doesn't matter. Their opinions matter though.
Yeah.
And they would say, this bleepy bleepy is still doing it, in a way that none of us can do it.
Right.
But anyway, I'm just glad that we got. I don't care who didn't watch the finals and how bad low the ratings were. I don't care. I'm enjoying watching it.
Look, we won't get into that, but you know what? When you match up any sport against the NFL, they're going to lose. I don't care if it's the finals. The Stanley Cup got low numbers too. And a lot of the people who said they weren't going to watch the NBA and NFL said we're going to watch hockey. Why? We know why. because there's not a lot of minorities in hockey. Those numbers were low too. So when you start, and then baseball playoffs, look, anytime you're matching up with the NFL, you're gonna lose. All these sports
Yes,
at the same time,
true.
the schedules are all weird. Everybody's clock is off. Yeah, the numbers are gonna be weird.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. All right, so NBA's about over though.
Yeah.
High school football playoffs
Yeah.
in full effect here in Ohio.
Oh,
Stebbins Indians, Coach
what?
Boniface, guys got a bye this last weekend. They earned the opportunity to be in a spot
Ooh.
to have a bye, and
Ooh.
now they play Sydney Yellow Jackets this
Uh,
week.
yes, they do
Is
play.
that right? Yes. And he beat West Carrollton, right? Right.
They did beat West
So they
Carrollton.
played Sydney, a team that they played early in the year
Right.
and beat, correct?
That's
All
correct.
right. So, hey, another good week of practice, coach. I'm sure the kids will get. And hey, let's see how far it can go, man.
Hey,
Let's
man.
see how far it can go.
I watched
Love
I,
it.
I watched the game. I watched the Sydney. I caught the second half.
Did you?
Sydney and West Carrollton, and they put it on West Carrollton. They beat them pretty good.
Mm-mm-mm.
So I'll be interested to
Mm-mm-mm.
see the matchup. Come on down here to come on down to the reservation and see what you can get.
Mm.
Man, all
Mm-mm-mm.
rested up. Look, you spend the week getting healthy, getting your treatment, going back over some of the basics, tackling, blocking, catching, all that good stuff. And then next week
That's right.
is game plan week. Put the game plan in and get ready. Let's go.
So I want to share something real quick here. So last week,
Yeah.
one day was National Coaches Day.
Yeah.
And I think that's real cool, man. I always like to put something out there about that, just because I feel like being a youth coach and having coached at the high school level and the junior high level, and
Yeah.
and then just seeing, man, just it's not that's not a glory position, man, for these guys.
No.
This is about it's about the kids. It's about hard work, and Coach Bonifay again. I think him. He posted something tonight, and I read it here as we were waiting to get going,
Mm-hmm.
and it says, "I coach because I care
Yeah.
about my athletes. I coach because I love the game. I coach because I want to make a difference." And I felt like when I read that meme, it totally sums it up. I mean, you got guys, some guys, they want the limelight, it's, whatever. The amount of time and effort that goes into coaching youth sports, high school sports,
Yeah.
um, if it's just about those things, it's not gonna last. Okay, it's
Mm-hmm.
got to be about those things I just read it,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that we can shed some light, and some thanks to all the guys that give that time, because it does make a difference. I know a lot of times, man, we joke about it a lot of times, as old as you are, and as old as I'm getting.
Thank you.
um, but it's neat, man, whenever I hear you talking about kids that you coached
Yeah.
in high school, and now they're doing things, and families, and successful, and just positive pillars in society, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doing something.
Right.
But talking about, yeah, I had that kid. It's not about, yeah, I had that kid. He's in the NFL now.
Nah.
It's about, yeah, I had that kid, and now he's got this job here,
Yeah.
and he's doing well, and he's raising a family, da da da. And just to hear when those kids come back, and they talk about you to you, and about how you had a positive effect on them, and that's really what it's about.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. I love seeing, just later on, and the fact that you can say, you know what, hopefully I had a positive effect,
Mm-hmm.
on that individual. So I love it. I love it. I love that we can do that. And I love that coaches get their due at least one day. I mean, because we know a lot of times it's a year-round thing.
It
It's a
is.
lot of time, a lot of effort. And it's not for the thanks. It's not for obviously the financial,
Oh,
but it's about the love of the people
that's
and
right.
the sport.
That's right.
So
And look, we did the math one year. We had some extra time and we did the math, and it was just a rough estimate. And for coaching, what we were wind up getting paid was like a quarter an hour,
whew,
like 25 cents an hour. And people think it's
mm,
about money. It ain't about money.
not about
It's
money.
about liking to be around the kids. It's about some camaraderie with the other coaches. It's about the game, just like you said. I've had parents reach out and say, "Hey, thanks. My kid loves you. My kid My kid still talks about you, whatever. That's a great feeling. And then I've been invited to weddings by the parent, not the kid, by the parent. You know, the kids, I'm friends with them on Facebook and whatnot, and they send me messages, and we might disagree about some of the politics, but at the end of the day, they still say, hey, coach, you meant a lot to me, and you did these things for me, and blah, 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 blah. And that feels great, man. There's no better feeling. Shout out to the coaches.
I agree 100%. That's right. That's right. So you just said something, and you mentioned politics and you know, not agreeing on politics.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find it difficult?
Here we go.
Okay. Do you find it difficult when you disagree with someone politically in this climate that we're in right now? And obviously it's magnified because the election's, you know, 3 weeks away, 3.5 weeks away, 4 weeks away, whatever it is now, a little under 4 weeks.
Right.
Do you find it more difficult? How do I want to put this? I don't know. For me, I struggle sometimes with disagreeing with somebody and really I don't want to write somebody off because we don't agree.
Right.
However, there are certain points that just get me so fired up internally.
Yeah.
And it makes me question if I can really be cool with that person. And it's funny because I do have people that we just totally disagree.
Yeah.
When it comes to that. But it's funny. I got a coworker, great guy. And we've had the opportunity to spend time together on business trips, right?
Mm-hmm.
We typically have room together when we
Right.
go out of town for business. And we always we always are ready. He has his Fox and I have my CNN,
Ooh.
and we stay up to the wee hours of the night.
Mm.
And it's the most respectful conversation.
That's the key word.
And it's point, point, and I don't feel like as a society we can do that enough because I feel like everybody and I'm not when we talk, I'm not trying to convince him different, and he's not trying to convince me different, but we do talk a lot about kind of where we come from and why we believe this. And through that respectful conversation, I do see points.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he does see points. And I don't think it necessarily changes us from this side to that side,
Right.
but there's a little better understanding, and that definitely gives me the confidence that everybody that disagrees with you doesn't necessarily hate you and where you come from and what you stand for and yada yada yada. They just see it differently, and a lot of times it's from past experience or where you come from or things that were ingrained to be important to you
Right.
or you know whatever. So how do you deal with that?
But here's the problem. As younger guys, when I was 18 and was able to vote, the adults didn't talk about politics.
Mm-hmm.
Your vote was kind of secret, kept quiet. You did whatever you did.
Right.
You didn't discuss it. And now
Mm-hmm.
it's discussed in the open, in your home, at work, at school. It's discussed on social media, and people's opinions. People get fired up about their opinions, and it's okay. I'm okay with that. We can disagree on politics, but we're not going to. I'm not going to disagree with you about race and how we treat poor people. I have a fundamental problem with that. But if we
Do you feel like though? Go ahead.
If we disagree, as long as it's respectful, I'm okay. You know, I've had recent discussions with people, and I'm shocked at some of the statements. But it's been respectful. But when it gets to a point to where it's disrespectful, or if I deem it as racist, like social media, I'm just going to unfollow or unfriend. I'm not going to. I get on Facebook to have fun. I'm just going to unfollow, unfriend. I don't have to read it.
Right.
But if it gets it never gets disrespectful face to face. We've talked about this on the podcast. A lot of these statements that are pushed out here on social media and whatnot, you're never going to say that in a public forum. You wouldn't do that.
No, right. Well, unless you're in a position of power and
Well,
have a whole bunch
that's
of
the second
people
part of it.
stand to protect you from other people and right.
That's the
So
second
so
part of it, right?
I guess my
Hold on. So he's the person that's in the White House now has encouraged some of this behavior, right? It's brash and it's in your face and it's gun-toting militias. I love how it's called a militia when it's white folk, but if those were brown and black people that had plotted to kidnap and kill a governor, we'd be terrorists. But it's militias when it's people that are white.
right. So so I guess what I was gonna say or ask or mention is I feel like people, and when I say people, I don't know if it's media or if it's the political parties themselves, which I think
Mm-hmm.
is a little bit of both, or a lot of bit of some and a little bit of the or whatever. But I feel like the hot button topic
Mm-hmm.
that's been pulled in and intertwined in the politics
Uh-huh.
is race.
Yes.
And some people say, "Oh, they're playing the race card." The reality of it is, I think the race card is being played, but I think we're being played. I think
Yeah.
it's being intertwined, and because the question becomes, how can we really embolden a group to follow and be strong about it, right?
Right.
Okay, and we know when that topic comes involved,
Yeah.
it brings a lot of fire,
Right.
right?
On both
And it
sides.
causes a lot of divide.
Yeah.
And part of the goal is we got to get these people or those people on this side or that side. What can we do to get them on this side or
Right.
that side? Race is race is the ultimate divider,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Because when you start it, using that, there's some absolutes,
Right.
right? And I feel that that has been, and I feel like we as a people, and I'm not saying black people, brown people, white people, I'm saying as a people,
Mm-hmm.
okay?
Right.
I feel that we have been played
Yeah.
by the people who are sitting there. And at the end of the day, I don't think a lot of them dislike each other as much as a lot of us are disliking each other because of all that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that being said, okay, I think you also hit it on the head. And I think it further, and we don't people can figure out where you stand sometimes when you have conversation, right?
Right.
We have conversation every week. And so people, I think, have a good idea. My thing is, and I know you to be a quality person, the reality of it is, someone can say, well, what do you believe in? What do you think is right? I thought, well, what I think is good and fair and equitable is right.
Right.
Okay. Good is good, period. And it's not about what side of the fence, it's about good is good, treating people right is treating people right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just where I stand.
Right.
Okay, so I, I don't even really get drawn into a lot of those conversations because I don't think there's any win, right? To be honest, especially during an election,
Right.
I don't think there's a lot of win there.
There's not a lot of win.
Because when somebody asks you, they already have where they're at,
Yeah.
right? So they're just kind of inviting you into to tango a little bit.
That's right.
Um, However, it
However.
and listen, I'm not gonna get into this ticket versus that ticket. Okay. There's
Mhm.
pluses. We've had those conversations.
Yeah.
Pluses, and when you have a two-party system, it's never gonna be perfect.
That's right.
That's why I wish it would, I wish some of these other folks would be able to get the backing to really be involved, be in the race, be, not just months and months and months ago, to fill the spots until they fall off. With that being said, as a country,
Mm-hmm.
we talk about United States being the greatest country in the world
Right.
and the melting pot and the land of opportunity. And I don't discount any of those things, okay? Because there's a lot of places you could be that are way, way worse, that don't have the opportunities, that don't have a smidget of what we have here,
Right.
okay? With that being said, we have to have leadership that helps us promote
No.
those great things we're talking about, okay?
Leadership.
Not just promote, okay, what they've done for an economy. And yes, that's why I'm the right person to be here.
Mm.
To me, and this is just a me thing, the president of the United States has an obligation in all of the areas
Right.
that we discuss.
Right.
Okay. And not just the president, the leadership. And we talk about that. It's not just about who you cast your vote for president, vice president, right?
Right.
It's all those other votes you cast that are going to shape the leadership in the different levels of government.
Right.
Okay. And we have to do a better job there.
Yeah.
But at a minimum, you have to have work to put some sort of class in that position. That's
Class.
just, you know, and I'm not going to ever throw anybody under the bus for things that are said because, at the end of the day, even Bob Dole said it.
Decorum.
A lot of the Republican cat don't like him.
Yeah.
You know, Bob Dole mentioned it. See, the debate committee, okay, that's a nonpartisan group. However, there's Republicans and Democrats in there,
Yeah.
right? But a lot of them don't like him.
Right.
A lot of them don't support him. A lot of those folks that have to cast votes in most respects in line with a party don't like the person that they chose to put in that spot. But it's
Right.
kind of like you're committed now. So we got to make the best out of a situation
Right.
that may not be the ideal situation. Um, I feel like it's going to be interesting, man. And that brings me to this question. Why in the world do you think it's okay and we should have pity on you because you decided you don't want to do a debate after you had COVID and nobody really wants to be around you because we don't know if we can trust you right now to be there?
Got that bug.
As you have super soaker spreader parties still.
Right.
My question is this, though. What's wrong with a virtual debate? If it's about getting in front of the American people and discussing your side versus the other person's opinion and stance, and it's about educating us all where you stand before we go cast our vote. Okay?
He's never
What's it matter? What's it
educated.
matter? What's it matter if you're seated 12 feet away from the
All
guy
right.
or if you're on a screen next to him?
Right.
Okay. Is it because you can't kind of try to intimidate the person because you're not like right there in front of him? Or I don't know what it is.
The
Like, what
statement
is
he
that?
said was that they can cut my mic off.
Which is what they probably should have done the first time.
They should have.
Because when you don't go by the rules that you agreed to coming into it, then there should be some sort of
Yeah.
recourse. And nobody's going to spank you. There's no paddles involved here.
Right.
Nobody's getting lashed. Okay. I mean, so here's the deal. You're not supposed to be talking anymore.
Doesn't believe in the rules. That's the problem. He doesn't believe in the rules.
And you know what? But the thing is, the rule should, and my guess is it would, apply to both of the candidates, which
Right,
is
it
how
does.
it should be.
That's right.
So if Joe Biden,
But
decided he was going to talk over and keep going after his time and start saying this, that, and the other, guess what? Joe Biden's mic should be muted.
well, yeah.
That should
But
work.
look, this man can't even follow the rules when it comes to a pandemic. Wear a mask, wash your hands, 6 foot social distance. Let alone follow rules in a debate. He get a chance to be on prime time, have control of the microphone, say whatever you want about the person you're debating, cut off the person, the moderator, talk over that person. You don't care about no rules. You break all the rules. Don't do the things that other presidents have done or people that are running for the office. Release your taxes.
So instead, you would rather just not have the debate.
Yeah. And look, and my thought was, you know what? If he don't want to show up, let Biden do a town hall.
Well, I'm sure he will.
Well, right.
Still do something.
Well, he should.
It would be silly not to. And of course, then that's where the media comes in. The media will allow that because there is media, obviously, that is pro one side or the other. And so, but at the end of the day, listen, there are still people that don't know who they're voting for. At this point, I mean, you're here or you're there, and it's whatever. But for those people that don't know, why would you not give them that opportunity, especially after what just happened in the vice presidential debate?
To paraphrase Bomani Jones, if you don't know who you're voting for by now, what the hell's wrong with you? I mean, come on. What else is there to debate? What other policy are we waiting? What grand What are we waiting on? Hold on. Stimulus check. Remember that when he said, you know what? No stimulus until after the election. Meaning, I can read between the lines. If you don't reelect me after November 3rd, I'm not even trying to sign anything for stimulus for people that need help. If you do reelect me, okay. He's blackmailing the population. That's what I'm talking about. These are the dumb things that he does. I said it.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand who's advising in these things.
Well, the problem is he has advisors, but he doesn't listen to the advisors. And that's what the people were saying. When he got elected, they were going to say, okay, he doesn't have any experience, but if he surrounds himself with the right people, then he can be okay. And then you surround yourself, for instance, Dr. Fauci, infectious disease expert, and he tells you how to handle this.
Nonpartisan.
Tells you how to handle it, and you don't listen. So, I mean, because he made it political. The Democrats didn't make it political, say it was a hoax. And all. He made it political by going against the advice of the medical experts, meaning to flatten the curve, shut things down. Well, you know what? If you shut things down and the economy goes away, then I got an election coming up, so then we can't do that. That's what it is.
Yeah, I felt like, and if you go back in time, I felt like a lot of folks felt, okay, and I'm not ashamed to say this. Before Donald Trump was running, the idea of somebody who was not in politics going and getting into the White House and maybe just being a little different.
It intrigued me.
Than what we were used to, right?
Yeah.
And the whole drain the swamp thing, and I get it, man, because everybody's talked about it. Politics are dirty, and yet this, that, and the other, and both sides. I mean, so yes, there was something very, very
intriguing.
Yeah. But I was a little excited that, hey, maybe we could get somebody in there that's not of that ilk.
The problem is the machine is too big.
The problem is the machine is big, and the reality of it is, we've talked about this over and over, Sean, and I don't want to make the whole show about this, but the problem is the machine is controlled by money. He comes from that world. He knows that world. He understands it. But one of the bigger problems for me is the character that is, and you know what? Maybe it's all an act. Maybe it's all an act. I don't know. I don't know the guy. I know the people that I know that know the guy, or at least around the guy in some respects.
What guy?
I'm not saying. But we know people who have been able to. The reality of it is, I just don't feel like the president, he don't represent me.
Right.
Because that's not me. Like, I'm not here to put down, pockets of people, and I don't know, man. I would like to be represented a little differently as a country and as a people.
Yeah.
Period. And I think class should be a huge requirement for the person in the most powerful seat in the most powerful country in the world.
That's important. What I think. It's important how we look. How we look to the world is important. How we're respected around the world is important. How do you plan on going in and negotiating all these deals and whatever else throughout the world if you can't even have a normal conversation with someone without disrespecting them?
Yeah,
that's the problem, man.
Well, three and a half weeks, and then we won't have to talk about it for a while.
I got my mail-in ballot.
Regardless of what happens.
I got my mail-in ballot. Came in the mail on time. I was checking. I was a little worried because it said out here in California, you're going to get it 29 days before the election. I started counting. I was like, hey, I haven't got my ballot. But, I hop on my phone. I do a Google search. I go there. It says it's been it was mailed on the 5th, and I got it on the 8th. I filled it out. Had my little booklet, everything read up on all the things that are on the docket. Is that what on the ballot? And made my votes, sealed it up, and I'm going to drop it off in the drop box.
There you go.
Boom.
There you go.
Eviction letter.
All right. All right, so they say don't talk about politics and religion. Those are the hot button topics
No,
that will, that is still true.
it is
That
true.
is still true. But man, right now, if you don't get involved in those conversations, you kind of stand on the
Well,
outside watching everybody else
everybody
talk.
else is talking about. I want to talk about too.
Right, right. So, so Pee Wee football this week.
Okay.
Our Pee Wee football team, the Huber Heights, the HHYFC Huber Heights Youth Football Club, fifth grade Red Warriors were victorious
Oh,
over
okay.
the real Warriors, as our kids refer to themselves as,
Oh, oh,
versus
oh.
the Lebanon Warriors,
Ooh,
the Lebanon Maroon Warriors. Um, yeah, we went up there and handled business. Um, Touchdowns by a number of players, including
good.
yours truly, Boogie Martin. Boogie Martin had a touchdown run
Okay.
for the quarterback position.
60 yards,
Um,
70 yards.
um, it was six. It was about a foot.
Okay.
It was about a foot. So here's what happened.
I
All
work on
right.
that long speed.
So we had a kid run the ball well. He's a workhorse, right? He's doing a good job. Busts a run,
Yeah.
gets it down to like the 1 foot yard line, and then came over. We called a quarterback sneak. Quarterback scored. So first thing I do is I go over to the kid, right? And I said, okay, here's the deal. Football lesson. Don't get tackled at the one.
Get
But
your
hey,
feet up.
hey, great kid though. He had 2 touchdowns during the game.
Yeah.
He had a strip and score at the end of the game, which is his second of the season. Very impressive on the defensive side.
Yeah.
Offensively, a lot of tough yards, a lot of good running. Scored. I think he had a 2 point point after conversion or two. And then we had a couple other kids that one kid had his first touchdown of the year. Another kid really led us. We had one of our dominant offensive players didn't play too much. He had a little bit going on, and we decided, what, it's not worth it. We got a lot of good kids, man. Our team is just filled with great kids, and yesterday was a great opportunity for kids to play different spots, different positions, and,
Right.
and really, give other kids a chance to do some things. And we were very happy, man. Defense got another shutout. It's fourth shutout of the year. Um, they've been doing their thing, and we end up winning the game 33-0, and we're heading into our final regular season game as we prepare for the playoffs.
So you put the
So
beats. You put the beats on them bad enough to put everybody in. Everybody got to play different positions and all kind of good stuff.
let me tell you something. Well, here's the deal.
Put the
When
beats on
you
them.
when you have a situation where a kid kind of goes down,
Yeah.
and now we're moving some things around, and and then another kid kind of gets a little dinged up, so he's got to go out. Then another kid, because we got a lot of kids playing on both sides of the ball, and so we got to the point where I looked out there one time, and both our tight ends were not the tight ends.
Yeah.
What's that?
Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Los Angeles Lakers just won the NBA championship.
13
106-93.
points, 106-93. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Okay, and they're going crazy.
Yeah.
Going
Uh-oh.
crazy. The crowd is
Is
going
JR
wild.
shirtless already? JR is shirtless already?
JR is shirtless already.
There's the confetti.
Anthony Davis is boo-hooing. He finally got one. That man is
17.
not leaving after this season.
Who?
He is going to sign the big deal with the Lakers and stick around.
Anthony
There ain't
Davis?
no question. Yes.
Why would anybody question that?
Man, because people were saying it's not a given. It's not a given. It's a given.
Where's he
You know
gonna
he's
go?
saying
New York?
LeBron's going to play like this in year 17, and he's not slowing down.
Right.
I can get me a couple, and we can bring some other cats in here and then carry it on.
Try to repeat, man. You got to.
Gotta repeat. Gotta repeat in the Staples Center.
Right.
Mm-mm.
That's all right.
So anyway, yeah, that's good to see. I hate to see it end, but hey, man, go back to your families, celebrate, be proud of it, and let's help this goat get a couple more.
Right.
So you can get in the conversation a little bit more.
That's right.
Little ammo for the conversation. What else, man? What else is going on? I know we always hit on the politics a little bit because it's just a big part of what it is today.
Yeah.
Did you watch that debate the other night, the vice presidential debate?
Yeah, I watched it.
I watched it too. Well, you know what? I watched like the last 15 minutes of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like whether I watch 15 minutes or I watch an hour, I feel like I'm gonna walk away feeling the same things. And because I'm gonna get all the clips from the news and things like that and all the highlights. Um, the one thing I will say was I love the fact that it was a lot more civil,
Right.
the president's debate.
Right.
And I just for the life of me, man, I mean, we've had presidential nominees, you know, competing in the past. We've never had this. The venom, the it's almost like so much of it is for show.
Yeah.
We've had people that have were had just they were competing and they were just on total opposite sides and it could be fiery and it could get fiery and they would
Yeah.
throw a jab in or a blah blah. But I cannot remember just the blatant disrespect
It is.
that
So
we have
man.
seen. And I'll be honest with you, like shame on people for letting it become that makes a mockery of what's going on.
Huh.
And watching the vice presidential one, at least both parties seemed somewhat presidential. And both parties, even if they didn't sometimes answer the questions, I mean, you're always gonna have that. I'd like to see a little more substance, but right now, substance is not the thing on a lot of people's minds. They're looking for the shock factor, and they're looking for that, and people to just jump on the hot button topics. But so I don't know. I don't know who's gonna really do what in some of these areas.
What you
It'd be nice.
said about presidential, them looking yeah, JR does have his shirt off already. Looking presidential, it's very important. That question was asked in that debate. And it's important because these two cats are in their 70s. 77 is Biden and 74 is Trump, and one has COVID. So it is very important, that the vice presidents are healthy, because it may come to a point to where one of them might have to take over
Absolutely.
within the 4-year period of the next presidency. So yeah, I mean that question was asked. That question was asked. It's important. I feel like he is just he's the same guy as him. He just does it in a more polite way. And she doesn't play, so she wasn't gonna allow him to do a bunch of that stuff. She wasn't gonna allow him to be disrespectful or whatnot. He tried to cut her off a couple times. She's like, "Excuse me, it's my time."
The one thing though I think is just always interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I love hearing the fact checks afterwards, but it disappoints me. It disappoints me though that one of the things that we're seeing, and I don't know who to blame this on the people that get them ready for their debates. I hate the fact that both of them could be just wrong on facts
Yeah.
that they I mean, how is that? Like, okay, and I understand getting your numbers flubbed up a little bit sometimes, but those fact checks are great. They're like, yeah, it's not really the case
But
when it was actually this.
I do believe that one side has a longer list of stuff that had to be fact checked than the other side.
Well, that's not, but that's I get it.
Right.
I
So
agree.
that
right
to
now,
me
I'm
that
saying,
means that one side might have messed up a number, might have got it wrong. And I know there was one question that just was not going to get answered. I get that. There's a reasoning behind that. And then that tells me the other side is we don't care. We're going to say whatever we need to say to win. And
no, I agree.
It happens so often that the list is quite long because they don't care.
The problem is though, like anything else, Sean, you know it, like anything else. What's the old adage? Well, if it's on the internet, it's got to be real, right? It's got to be true. Nobody's gonna put something out there that's not real or true,
Right.
right? So when you have people that are answering a question and matter of factly stating things that are not really facts,
Yeah.
That's disappointing.
It is.
Because that's what we're being told, okay, here is the open book. Okay, here are the questions that you want to
It's
hear
been
answered,
tone,
but the answers that we're
tone,
getting
tone,
really aren't the answers,
tone,
if we even get answers.
tone. The current president of the White House, the president of the United States, railed against Obama that he was not American. I mean, come on. That he stands on that he wasn't American. Muslim.
He wasn't American?
Terrorist.
I mean, he was American?
I need to see his birth certificate. It's fake.
He was
Fake
American?
news. Hussein. His middle name's Hussein.
Obama, hold on.
Got a Muslim
Obama
name.
was American.
Huh?
Obama was American.
Yeah. Are we sure?
Not according to Trump.
That's what
Trump
I'm
said
saying.
it over and over.
I'm saying.
So,
if you repeat a lie long enough, it becomes the truth, right?
No, he said it very clearly. He's not American. He's not American. That's the problem.
It's not a lie.
And that's the problem that we're having.
Right.
When things are said
repeatedly
and the right or the left are saying it, then the right constituents or the left constituents, it is now gospel.
Right.
And that's why the two-party system, I think, is just maybe it's time that we insert something else to find us somewhere in the middle, closer to the facts.
You have a saying when we talk all the time, and I couldn't remember it the other day. And I was talking to somebody. I wanted to use it, but I couldn't remember it. You are fiscally conservative
and socially liberal.
Right. That's the party I want to be a part of.
I'm about saving money.
Right. Working to earn your own money and saving it.
Working to earn your own money.
Right.
And picking yourself up by the bootstraps and working hard and earning.
Right.
And I believe that everybody should have the same equal ability to do that.
Right.
So when there are things and policies that we can put in place to do that.
Yes.
Because remember, we are the richest, economically strongest country in the world.
Right.
Okay. And so let's make sure that the people in our country can live that, right? Life, liberty, and happiness, right?
Right.
So let's give them that. And then from a social standpoint, I'm about, you know what? Live and let live.
Right.
Be happy.
Right.
Don't negatively affect others.
That's right.
And don't tolerate, because I hate it when the T word is
tolerate.
Ban. If I could ban that word,
I tolerate them coloreds.
I hate the word tolerate. Okay. It's not about living in a country where we tolerate. No, that's not what it is. How about accept?
You have to re-record this pod.
You don't have to do it. You don't even have to like it.
That's right.
But accept.
How about this? If you ain't got nothing nice to say, shut up.
No. That's right. But so that's really where I and you know where I got that from?
Yeah. Say it again though.
You know where I got that from?
Where?
Jesse the Body Ventura.
Say it again.
Jesse the Body Ventura.
No, the saying.
No, that's where I got it from them. Being fiscally conservative and socially liberal.
Socially liberal.
Just be good to people, man.
Yeah.
Be good to people and let's try to get this paper.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
And look, and be a team player. I mean, I don't understand how we can't. Just like you said, we're one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Why can't we continue to be wealthy and at the same time help people? I just don't get that. Why is there always pushback when it comes time to help? Oh, I know why. Never mind. You made the face and then I realized why. Damn it.
Oh, well. You know what? We're going to continue to live the right way. And I know in this house, we're going to try to be the best we can be, both inside these walls and outside.
Yeah.
And we're not going to take advantage of people.
Right.
And we're going to try to help lift others up. And we're going to share, blessings that we have been able to receive and been bestowed upon us.
That's right.
And hopefully help others at the same time. So regardless of who's in the White House.
It blows my
It
mind.
doesn't matter.
It blows my mind to be. We could do this for hours, but I'm not going to.
We can't do that.
Just get
Now, you can tune in to the Getaway Podcast with Tony and Sean, uncut after hours.
Oh man, we need to start that.
And we can go on and on and on. All right, but that would be a pay for subscription,
right?
And we're going to jumble it up to where you could never put it out on the internet,
right?
And link me.
No,
we'll have our masks on,
right?
We'll have
distorting the voices.
Yes,
pixelated. We'll pixelate the camera.
All that.
Yeah, man.
All that.
Yeah, man.
Oh
my God. Hey, man.
Dak
Prescott, get better soon, buddy.
Man,
even though I don't agree with some of the plays that you make, man, nobody wants to see an athlete get hurt. And I hated to see that.
A lot of injuries this year, man. A lot of injuries this year to a lot of big name players.
That wasn't one of those, running in the open, pull something, pop something. That was a body on the ankle. And I saw it when it happened. And it's unfortunate that I had to see that because I have that image in my head now. It's terrible.
Yeah, my wife looked at it and showed it to me. I said, I don't want to see that.
No, they kept replaying
I don't need to see that. And I hope that the TV places don't show it anymore.
Right.
I don't want to see still shots on Facebook. No. I don't need to see that.
No.
And that guy is in surgery right now, probably.
Right. So
getting it fixed.
How nervous were you for Alex Smith today?
When I heard that the starting quarterback went down to injury, and in comes Alex Smith, all I kept thinking about was it like 17 surgeries?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right.
And this man who was not only never expected to play football again, but was fighting for his life.
Right.
Based on his injuries.
Right.
And just the fact, and then they took a shot of his family who was there, his wife and his kids.
She was a wreck.
And they're cheering for him. And but all I kept thinking was, ooh, the bullets are real now.
Yeah. I saw a play where a guy jumped on his back and there was bodies all around, and I'm like, just go down. He's carrying a guy on his back. It might have been Aaron Donald. Somebody was on his back, and all that traffic. Yes. I'm like, oh. Yes. I was squeamish, to the point of squeamish. Like, I can't watch this.
I was always of the opinion that sort of thing should lead to retirement.
Yeah.
Right off into the sunset.
Look,
you've made a ton of money.
We talked about this.
The game has blessed you, and you've been a good citizen.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
go play flag. Go play flag, man.
Go
get away from the game, man.
Money, right?
We don't need you out there making me feel bad because you want to play.
And you know what? If he's playing my team, I'm still not rooting for him. Like, rooting that he doesn't get hurt.
I wasn't rooting for him. I just didn't want to see the hurt.
I don't want to see that dude get hurt.
Man.
But yeah, definitely, man. Happy thoughts to Dak, man. Get well. You got 34 million. Pick me up, get well wishes.
Hey, Jerry Jones, that's why you should have gave that dude a contract.
Man, come on, man. That dude has $34 million.
Franchise tag that dude, man. Hundreds of millions left on the table. And he may not get that.
Man, we keep going back to that. He had an opportunity to sign a long-term deal.
It wasn't the right deal.
It wasn't the deal he wanted.
It wasn't the deal he wanted.
It wasn't the deal he wanted.
When do your Buckeyes play?
2 weeks.
2 weeks. My Irish came back from
17th.
Oh, next week?
17th or 24th.
You don't even know. My Irish came back from a 3-week hiatus.
I gotta go back and look. Man, it's not been the same, Sean. I can't. It's hard. It's been hard to get into the college football season. It's not the same.
It's missing the fans because it's the whole atmosphere of football. Yes. Like the NFL, I can do without the fans, but the college game it's so emotional, and the band and all that stuff. It's missing a lot of that. And you know what? Some of those places, we and Jeff talked about it. Some of them red states, Georgia was packed. And Dan Mullen said, man, they had like 5,000 people in the student section behind us, loud as heck. And when we go back to Florida, I want the swamp full because the law just got passed that we can be back out in public, and I want the swamp packed because he needs that home field advantage because he lost to Texas A&M.
As more NFL players test positive for COVID, more games get suspended.
Yeah, and he wants to put a bunch of college kids in harm's way for the sake of home field advantage. Shame on you, Dan Mullen.
So it's definitely not the same, but at least we have it.
Yeah.
And we'll see how long we have it.
All right.
How much time we got, man?
We're done. Unless you want to keep going. Got something else you want to talk about?
Nah, I gotta get on these meds, man, before I go to bed.
Yeah. Get on the meds, man.
I gotta get on these meds. No, but I am glad to be back. Appreciate all the hard work you put in, Huffman, to make sure Huffman is a producer as well.
Woo, tough work.
Thank you for joining the Getaway Podcast with Tony and Sean. Enjoy it, share it, watch it, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Yes.
And we're gonna do it all again a week from now. Have a great week. Be good to each other, and let's do it again next week.
Say word, son.
Say word. Oh, no. Say word, son.
Word, son.